The Premier League kicks off. Post-Messi life begins at Barcelona. Mbappe linked with Real Madrid again. We've got a transfer window wrap thanks to our friends at cryptocurrency trading platform Bybit and Emoji Mondays. That is all coming up in the next few minutes as I'm your host, Matt Froelich. You are the One Footballers and this is the Daily News. First up, and the Premier League returned this weekend. It kicked off with Brentford beating Arsenal back in the Premier League, and it finished with Manchester City, the reigning champions, losing to Tottenham Hotspur. This was a rather interesting game. It had the edge of the Harry Kane transfer saga added to it, and Tottenham, it looks as though they were going to be down and out this season. Losing Harry Kane, he's going to join Manchester City, actually turned in a pretty good performance, but the problem for Spurs now is that, well, it looks like it's pushed Manchester City into really needing a striker, and maybe they're going to be doubling their efforts this week to bring in the England captain. Kane was actually missing from both sides, to be honest. He would have helped either side probably turn the game, but as it was, Heung-min Son's goal meant that Nuno Espirito Santo picks up 3 points in his first game as Tottenham manager. As for Manchester City, they did start their new £100 million signing Jack Grealish in midfield, but didn't really create too much. It's a very disappointing opening weekend for Pep Guardiola's side, and it's the first time that he's lost in 10 years on the opening day of the season. To make it even worse, all of the other title rivals had fantastic opening weekends. There were good wins for Liverpool and Chelsea, and as for Manchester United, my word, Pogba and Bruno Fernandes were on absolute fire. Bruno Fernandes, what a hat-trick in the 5-1 victory against Leeds, and Paul Pogba turned up with 4 assists. You can't stop those two when they're on this kind of form. And honestly, said it before, Manchester United, who paraded new signing Rafael Varane around the pitch before the game, are definitely looking like title challengers this season. Next up then, and to Barcelona in their post-Messi era, began with a victory. Things are absolutely fine for the minute. They won 4-2 over Real Sociedad, and despite a late comeback from the visitors, they were able to hang on at a 4th in injury time, and it's a pretty good opening weekend for Ronald Koeman's side. Gerard Piqué got the first goal of the season, and actually that is in the week that he agreed to reduce his wages so Barcelona can register a few more of their players. Maybe things aren't looking so bad just yet. Of course, their eternal rivals in the La Liga title race, Real Madrid, also put in a very good victory this weekend. The La Liga champions, Atletico Madrid, saw off Celta Vigo. The match ended in absolute pandemonium, but we'll get to that in just a little bit with Emoji Mondays. With the Real Madrid game though, Gareth Bale was back in the squad because why not? It's such a strange thing at Real Madrid. They had a summer which saw loads of talk about stuff off the pitch, but not too many transfers. So they started the season with pretty much the same team that you'd expect to see. Plus, David Alaba made his debut at left back. But up front, it was Bale, it was Benzema, it was Hazard. It was an absolute throwback, and Carlo Ancelotti, back at the club, has got them off to an absolute flyer. This, of course, on the weekend where there were rumours in a newspaper in Spain that Real Madrid were looking at the prospect of leaving La Liga and joining the Premier League. I know we've heard some ridiculous rumours on this channel, but that is right up there at the top of all of them. Anyway, talking of Real Madrid, and actually a signing that might happen in the form of Kylian Mbappe. Now, in the last few weeks, he has turned down a brand new 6-year contract at PSG, and it looks as though he will end up at the Bernabeu in some way, shape or form within the next 12 months. It's just unsure whether PSG are going to let him go now for whatever money they can get for him, or next summer on a free transfer. After everything that PSG have done in the transfer market, Lionel Messi especially on a free transfer, losing Mbappe on a free transfer next summer is pretty degrading for the club. The thing is, they've got quite a bit of time to get rid of him and get his wages off of the budget and come under the financial fair play regulations. Apparently, French Ligue 1 aren't asking any questions until the 2022-23 season, which means that they have a little bit of time to sort things out. As for Mbappe, he hasn't spoken publicly about it, but apparently there's a feeling within the club, from the chairman, from the president, and from manager Mauricio Pochettino as well, that he will not be rejoining, despite the fact that they've obviously brought in an absolute superstar squad. Now, whether Real Madrid can or cannot attract him this summer is going to be down to quite a few things. Whether or not they can afford him, both with the money that's going to go to PSG and with the wages as well, but whether or not they think it's a smarter move to wait one more year. The reason being is that Gareth Bale's contract runs out next year, and that frees up a lot of money for Mbappe's weekly wage, and there'll be one more year into basically into a new era. They've got rid of Sergio Ramos. It looks like Eden Hazard is past his peak. Like I mentioned, Gareth Bale is leaving. Luka Modric's contract will run out again next summer. So maybe Mbappe will come in next year as really the kickstarter of this brand new Real Madrid in a brand new stadium, which is set to open very soon. Next up then, we come to our transfer window wrap, brought to you by our friends at cryptocurrency trading platform Bybit. First up, and Chelsea's Tammy Abraham is flying to Rome today to complete his medical and sign for Jose Mourinho's side. Atletico Madrid had a bid of 60 million euros for Fiorentina's Dusan Vlahovic turned down over the weekend. Miralem Pjanic looks like he could be heading back to Juventus as the Italian side wants to bring him back from Barcelona. And if Chelsea cannot sign Declan Rice, they may turn their attention to Dortmund's 18-year-old Jude Bellingham. Next up then, we look back at your Friday feels. This is where you guys left a couple of predictions on Friday's daily news for the weekend's football. And hey buddy, a great YouTube name, guessed that German champions Bayern Munich would start their campaign with a draw, and they did, a 1-1. Next up, Ryan Morego guessed that Liverpool would run out 3-0 winners against Norwich. By the way, Mo Salah had a fantastic game. And lastly but not least, Sudan Francis correctly guessed that Heung-min Son would score against Manchester City. Finally then, we come to this week's Emoji Mondays. This is where we are football throw a couple of emojis down over some of the weekend's hottest action. First up, we have the best player, Erling Haaland, the kid. I just realised he turned 21 over the summer. Just 21, and he looks like a grown adult playing in a kids' league. He managed to get 2 goals and 3 assists, involved in all 5 goals this weekend for Dortmund. And I know, like I mentioned before, the likes of Salah, the likes of Pogba, the likes of Fernandes, and so many other players had brilliant weekends. But Erling Haaland takes the best player award for me. Next up, and the crazy moment, I mentioned it earlier, the end of the Celta Vigo Atletico Madrid game. A massive melee of epic proportions broke out. Loads of fighting, loads of pushing, loads of shoving, and 2 red cards at the end of it all. And lastly but not least, the best result of the weekend goes to Nice, who won 4-0 at defending Liga champions Lille. Like, honestly, and what's even funnier about this is it was the manager Christophe Galtier who led Lille to the title, left the club in the summer, moved to Nice, came back to his former club, 4-0. I think they were 3-0 up by half time. Astonishing result. So that's all from me then. Check out everything else we've got going on. Leave me your Emoji Mondays down below, and until next time, I will see you guys later.